All right, let's check this out. See if we can hear ourselves here. Okay, guys, we're waiting for a couple other people to get on, so I will start this webcast here in about 5 minutes, 6 minutes. I promise we'll get the hang of this yet. This is a great way to do a presentation online and across the entire country, actually across the entire globe. Just takes a little bit getting used to how technical it is. By the way, if you're just getting on, make sure that you fast forward to live. It'll actually let you get on and watch from the start, and you'll just be looking at a blank screen without anybody talking. I'm going to give it another 2 minutes, guys, then I'll start. Okay, guys, give me another second here. I got a couple people saying it's not working for them. Let me make sure they got the right link. Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. A couple of people are having some problems watching it, I think, because we changed the link there. I promise that I'll get this right. It really is great technology, guys. You can watch this from anywhere in the globe. By the way, my name is Brian Lowery, and I'm founder of a company called AF Solutions. And I'm going to go over just a little bit of business overview real quick. But again, this is a great piece of technology here that we can use to show this business opportunity to basically anybody in the world. Now, I will say a couple things. There's a slight delay, so I'll go over that here in a second. Go over a couple notes. So if you got questions, you're going to want to text me directly at 503-933-6338. Granted, I may not answer your question tonight. We'll see. I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible so we can get through it all. By the way, I show 9 now watching it, so we got a couple people on here. It's a good test, okay? But I am excited. We had a few people already fill out applications in the last half hour and send them in to us. So we're ready to get this thing rocking. So do not use the chat function. I can't see the chats, and even if you did use them, it comes up for everybody. I'd have to switch over to that screen. So just text me if you have a question, and hopefully I'll be able to get to it. Again, there's about a 60-second delay, so if you send me a question, I'll probably get to it at the end. I'll try to answer the questions once I'm through with the presentation. And if I don't answer your question, I may answer you directly after or during the next webcast. We're going to do these a couple times a week, guys. In fact, I'm thinking 2 times a week right now until we get things up and running, then we'll add more. So we're going to go through a couple things. By the way, I'm not going to cover everything. We don't have that kind of time, okay? So if you haven't seen the pre-launch video, this little presentation has a pre-launch video in there. Go ahead and take a look at that. I'll send out another link for the pre-launch video if you haven't seen it, but you definitely want to see that. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the TMM solution. A couple of you guys, you've seen this a little bit, but I want to get in there and show you guys what that product looks like. So we're going to go ahead and roll to that. So the first thing is, if you're a rep, you're going to log in as a rep. If you're just a client, you'd log in as a client. The process is pretty much the same. So I'm going to go ahead and log in as a rep. Now my screen's going to look a little bit different because I have an admin rights. Let me scroll down here. So we're going to make this button appear a little better here, but you'll see a button that says TMM on it. I'm going to change that the rest of this end of this week here and get them to expand that and put a little icon there. But for right now, that'll get you in. So you're going to click on the TMM button, and again, some of those same buttons appear whether you're a client or a rep. Either way, it'll get you into the system. Okay, getting a couple people that are asking me questions here. They'll have to watch the recorded version of this. I'll just send out the link again and they can watch it as we record it. But I'm going to go ahead and keep going here so that we are stay on track. So what I'm entering in here right Now, this is the TMM system. This is the money management solution. So a couple things you can look at. This is your dashboard. It's going to show you income coming in, spending going out, and just to make this live, I have a couple of my own accounts on here, so it doesn't show you, my passwords or anything like that. If you want to refresh, you just click this refresh button right here, and it'll refresh all the accounts. So go log in and pull the new numbers down. This is where your transactions would be. So click on here, and you've got all the transactions that you have here. So it looks like I got Amazon Video on Demand. Actually, that was my sister-in-law. Let me go back here, back to the dashboard. So real important though, this is, I think, one of the best things about this program. It's really, really clean. I think it's clean anyway. It's very easy to look at. You have your inflow, money coming in and money going out. The money that's left over, this is money that you could bank. One of our goals, of course, is to help people have some difference between the inflow and the outflow. So if they make $5,000 a month, we'd like to see them have an inflow of $5,000 and an outflow of $4,500, so that they can, so they can save some of that money. A couple things real quick, guys. This is really, really, really easy to set up. So a lot of the stuff that you see on here, it did all this automatically. It pulled the accounts and then went ahead and put these transactions in. It also categorized them all already. Now, that category may or may not fit. You'll have to go through the budget to figure that out. But if you click on budget here, you can set things up in the budget. So it says I have 8 transactions that are unbudgeted. So we're going to go ahead and click on those. And food and dining, I don't show a food and dining budget. So I could click on create a budget here. It's also going to show me that the last couple of months. So in January, I had a little bit more food and dining, $654 I spent on food and dining. February was $238, and March so far is $102. So I'm going to go ahead and say, okay, my food and dining budget ought to be $350. I'm just, I'm making that up, but that's just an example. So now it's going to put that in. So now that's been budgeted. Okay, groceries. I have $160 in groceries. Let's create a budget for that. Okay, so this one I've got a little bit more consistent. $465 in February. January was $401. So we're going to go ahead and put my grocery bill budget at $500. Once you set these up, guys, it's set up, basically indefinitely after that. So you only need to set it up once and define these things one time, and then from the next month it'll already have all that stuff figured out. But one of the greatest things about this program is that it's already looking at what I spend on a monthly basis. So I have health and fitness. I've got February 95, January 366. So I'm going to go back because I don't know why I have 366 for health and fitness. So let's look and see what that is. You can kind of go through and explore these things. So we're going to go to transactions here, and I want to go. So this is starting with the newest transaction, and then it's going backwards. And that one said health and fitness, so let's go down here and just pull health and fitness and see what comes up, because I have a feeling there might be something that's not categorized correctly. So we're going to hit health and fitness. We're going to hit go. Okay, so a couple things come up here. So we have, let's see here. We have FPK services, health and fitness, $209. I actually don't know what that is. I'll have to research and figure out what that is. Fervor, I know what that is. That is not health and fitness. So let's go ahead and click on that. So that is actually a business expense. So we're going to say advertising. That's probably the closest that would describe that. So we're going to assign fervor, that keyword, to advertising. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. Okay, so that took care of that. Walgreens, that could be considered health and fitness. And Festivus Games, that is health and fitness. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this FPK services here, because I don't know what that is. And we're going to put it as miscellaneous for right now, because I don't know, again, I don't know what it is. So we'll just leave it as miscellaneous. and I'll do the same thing with this one here, and then I'll go back and figure out what that is later. Okay, perfect. So that's probably more, that's probably more in line with what it should be. So let's go back to budget here. We still have some items that are unbudgeted. I'm going through this process, guys, just kind of get an idea of how to kind of mess around with this thing. So here we've got laundry. Create a budget for laundry. All right, we can do that. Boy, I don't spend a lot on laundry, but we'll put it at 25 bucks. Save that. Let's see what else we got here. We have home. Let's look at this here. I don't know what the home mattress world. I'm going to go ahead and click on this. I want to show you some other features that you have. You can add a subcategory. So mattress world, I spent 49 bucks. And I'm just going to make up a subcategory for this. So I'd say that is home. But we're going to go to subcategory. We're going to go to categories here. So you have all these different categories. You can make changes to this in any way you see fit. And again, this is so that you can track where your money's going. So you have taxes, travel, personal care, kids, home, health and fitness, gifts, donations, financial. So we got here, I actually added these two. I added retirement and vacation fund. I think I might have even added savings. I'm not sure what I added, but you can add as many subcategories as you want to make this all make sense. Business services, bills, utilities, auto transport, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to go back here to home, and I'm going to create another category. I'm going to put furnishings. I'm just making that up. Okay, so we did furnishings. All right, so I'm going to go back to my budget and unbudgeted, and we've got that home 49 bucks, and I'm going to go ahead and make that home furnishings, because that's probably, so we'll go ahead and click on that, and we're going to go furnishings. All right, perfect. And then what's my budget for home? I don't know. It's $200 a month. I'm making these up. You do want to make when you're going through this stuff, you do want to spend some time really thinking about how you want to categorize these things so that you can get a better idea of what your cash flow looks like, where is it going, and you can review it. And that's the biggest thing that you're going to do with kind of reviewing these transactions. And I have a personal example of that here over the summer. I started tracking some of these things, not with this particular program, but another one that wasn't near as clean as this one. I like how clean this program is. But I noticed that I had a very large amount of money going to groceries, so we did some finagling, and that was because I was looking at both my personal checking and then my credit card, which I use my credit cards and then pay them off, and then my wife had also been using credit cards, and then and so all of that was going toward our food bill, and the food bill was pretty high. I didn't really know how high it was because I wasn't looking at all those accounts simultaneously. I was only looking at mine, but once I got those all aggregated, I could see all of them. So this is just an overview, guys. Now, if you want to add an account, you can see here, here's some bank accounts. Okay, so you go through, I got US Bank and Rivermark in there. You can add bank accounts either manually or you can add them automatically. If you add them automatically, obviously it's going to pull all the transactions in and your balance and all that kind of stuff, and it will aggregate those automatically. You don't have to keep adding them. Some of you may use cash a lot, and if you do, you could add a cash account. Okay, it says no cash add. It's actually going to ask me to add the account. Of course, for cash, you're probably going to do it manually. So we're going to say this is piggy bank here, and a starting balance of, I don't know, 500 bucks, and we'll give it a start date of the 1st of March. Okay, and I can add that. So now I have a piggy bank. So we're going to start managing that account here. Let me go to the account itself. So we want to go to transactions, and oh, excuse me, go back to the dashboard. So we're going to add a, so we got the piggy bank account's going to show up here, and we want to add a transaction to that. We're going to create a transaction for the piggy bank. So this is if you're using a cash, then you've got your piggy bank here, and maybe you bought some gas, something like that. Select category. We're going to do auto transport, gas and fuel, and it was spending, and you spent 50 bucks. So now I just created a transaction on a cash account. Of course, creating transactions on automated accounts, that all happens automatically. If it's something that's being tracked automatically, you don't have to add any transactions to that. There are a couple other things here. There is some support if you're having a problem with a specific account. I will say most of the big banks and even smaller banks are going to sync no problem. There are a few credit unions that will not sync. We'll be handling those better as we increase our usership. I'll talk about that a little bit later, but the more users we have on board, the easier it will be for us to take over the management of the software and begin to add functionality. So there will become point in time where we'll probably be able to sync with almost any institution. And there's a lot of other institutions that we'll sync with. It's not just with banks. It'll sync with credit cards. It'll sync with loan companies, investment companies, all that stuff. So now I will warn you that in order to sync these, you're going to need to know your password and your username, and that definitely sounds like it's no big deal. But you'd be surprised at how many people get on these systems and then they don't remember what their username and password is. So I recommend that you start out by just picking one of your accounts, maybe your main checking account. Make sure you have the username and password and the challenge words. If there's, so like with US Bank, I went to go sign in and it asks me a couple of challenge questions. So, make sure you know the challenge questions, or if you don't know them, change them to something you know before you attempt to sync them. But again, once the stuff is sunk, you only have to do it one time. Once you sync it, then it's sunk. As long as you don't change the password for that particular account, it will continue to sync then on. So basically, the biggest workload here is just setting these things up. Once they're set up, it's just kind of an ongoing thing. A couple things here too to look at. Top spenders, just showing you where your money's going. Last 30 days. And then your most recent transactions are going to show up right here. And it doesn't care whether, it's going to tell you what accounts these are, but it's just going to put them in order of March, what date they were, the transactions happened. So you got, Platinum credit card there, you got piggy bank, you got main checking account. So it's going to aggregate them all in the same transactions, which is kind of cool because it does give you a bird's eye view of what is going on. So I think it's a great way to analyze your cash flow. That's about it for now, guys. That's just kind of my basic training on our money management solution. So I'm going to continue on with our presentation here, just go over a few more things, and then we'll knock this all out. A couple things. So start off with the numbers. So the money management system is $35 a month. I just want to go through this. By the way, any of you guys that know me, I'm a numbers guy. So don't hate me for that, okay? That's just the way my brain works. As we go along, I'm sure I'll dumb this down, but it's just the way my mind works. I'm very much a numbers-oriented person, and I need to know the numbers and understand them, and that's what I'm going to convey to you, so you guys understand where we came up with compensation, all that kind of stuff. So right off the bat, TMM program costs about $10 a month to start with. That number will go down quickly as we add users. Right now, we have 60% of our gross margin going to the field to start out with, and that's just in the first 1,000 reps. $10 to commissions, $5 to awards, trips, and recognitions, and those numbers will change. Let me go through that here a second. Okay, and then there's the tech fee. So $35 a month for the TMM, and then the tech fee is $15. Now, as we grow, we can make changes to this. The field's going to tell me what you guys want to see. But right now, the tech fee, the actual cost for our back office system plus our social toolkit is about $10 a month. We were going to throw the other 5 to awards, trips, and recognition, and to cash. I think it's a huge deal if we can reward these new reps with cash just for doing things in the back office. So the way that works is it's kind of a gamification system. It'll track whether they watched the initial training videos, whether they posted stuff on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever, Google Plus, and they'll track that, and we can actually give them achievement awards, and then if they did enough, they get trips and recognition, and then cash. So I'm going to put some money aside for that, and then of course that will probably go down per rep, and then the total to commissions will increase. So just so you guys know, so compensation right now, it's $5 is going to binary, $5 is going to unilevel. That's per month, per user. That's just where we're starting. That will go up quickly. You guys will decide how that increases, but I'm going to go through a couple of examples. So the following slides are examples of how we could expand commissions to the field, increase benefits to our users, and add features to our TMM program. So what I can guarantee you is that our margin will increase as usership increases and our cost per client will decrease. So we will have more money that we can put towards commission and features and benefits for our users. And I'm going to go through kind of my idea and how that would look. The field may decide to do something different, but that's what we're going to do. So the first 1,000 users, we're going to probably bump the commission to 12.5. So right after the first 1,000 are involved, we'll bump the commission up to 12.5, and the trips recognition awards will drop a little bit to 2.5. That's still 60% of the margin. At 10,000 users, you're going to see the commission in total now the same, 14 commission, $1 for $1 a month for trips, rewards, 6% of the margin. But the tech fee does change a little bit because our tech fee goes down. So we got 9 to cost and 6 to trips and recognition. Once we hit 25,000, though, well, here, go back. I'm going to go hold on a second. Actually, there is a little bit of margin decrease, and we have $1 going to trips, recognition, awards, and reward cash prizes for the users. I'll go through all this stuff again, guys. I know I'm going pretty fast here, but I just want you to give you an understanding of what I am thinking. So here's what this means. That means that once we hit 10,000 users, we're going to start rewarding the user itself. So this is not necessarily a rep, although it could be a rep. But I would like to pay the users for making achievements in the TMM program. So if a person starts to save a bunch of money and does a really good job of that, there's no reason we couldn't give them some cash prizes for doing that. So I want you to think about these numbers. If we have $1 set aside for every user, that's $10,000 a month that we'll be giving back to the users in the form of trips, recognition, awards, and cash prizes. And I think that's a huge deal. Now, that won't be everybody, obviously, but the top 50 or the top 100 users will get some rewards for doing a good job, for taking care of their finances. I'm going to keep going here. So the other thing that's going to happen is we're going to purchase the TMM software code. So we will actually own the program at this point. We can begin to improve the program significantly. We can create the gamification system. And let me clarify what gamification means. Gamification means that you create healthy competition. So gamification does not mean that you turn it into a video game. There was a couple folks that thought that, and I understand that would be I think a normal misconception, but that's not what that means. What it means is you create healthy competition between users. You get them to compete a little bit, and so instead of competing for as a rep, for building a business or whatever, they're competing with, hey, I'm saving a larger percentage of my overall income than the next guy. I've strived to hit this goal and I hit it. So those are the kinds of competitions that we want to kind of instill in our users. A couple other things, obviously, net worth calculator, debt stacking calculator, financial goal setting program integration. Those are just a couple of things that we will add to the program right off the bat. At 25,000 users, you're going to see the commissions are going to increase. Now, I'm putting this out there you guys, the margin's going to increase, and you guys are going to decide how much of that you want to go to commission, how much of it do you want to go to increasing, benefits for the users, and so on and so forth. But this is just to give you an example of where we'll be at. So that right there is 63% of the margin. The tech fee, of course, continues to go down. So we now have $7 going to trips, recognition, awards, and cash. And I'm going to try this. We may decide to do something different down the road. I've had some suggestions of doing something different, but I think you guys will find that if we throw some money back at the newest people that really don't have big downlines yet, and they're just getting things going, I really think if we throw money at those people, you're going to see huge results in terms of team growth overall. What we're going to do for our TMM users, again, we're going to just up it. So now we got $1.50 per user. So you can do a little math there. That's $32,000 a month going back to our users. I think that's a huge deal. We'll also add financial counseling and financial education at that point. And then when we get to 50,000 users, you can see the commission's now up to $18. So it started at 10, now we're at 18, plus $1 for trips, recognition, awards, so we're at 19. So that's 66% of the margin. So what's happening is essentially our margin is increasing, and we're able to put more money toward commission, but we're also able to put more money toward the users, and we'll be able to add benefits and features to the program while we're at it. And the company's going to make less money per user as the usership grows, and that's fine. When we started out there, it's $10 a user. We get down to the end, it's only going to be $4 or $5 a user, and that's all we'll need to make because we'll have a lot more users in total. Again, tech fee down to $7, and now the $8 going to trips, recognition, awards, and cash. And again, on the tech fee, we're using 100% of the margin, guys. We're not going to make any money on the tech fee per se. That money's going to go right back to the cost of the technology, and also trips, recognition, awards, and cash for the reps who use that technology. That's what that's for. Okay, so now we got the TMM to users, or the amount going to users. We got it to $2 a user. So again, a little math. That's $100,000 a month, right? To the users per month. So that means over the course of a year, we would be putting $1.2 million back in the pockets of our users. I really think that we'll get some bang for our buck when it comes to doing that. Again, adding financial counseling, financial education, and probably other features that I haven't even thought of yet, or some that you guys will think of. Now we get to 100,000 users. At this point, we can raise the commission to $20 per user per month. Okay, so again, you can do a little bit of math. That's a pretty good amount of money coming out the door there and going right back to commission. So that's actually 68% of the margin, or 60% of our revenue. So at that point, 60% of all the revenue coming in the door is going right back to the field. And 20 of it's going to commission, $1 is going to trips, recognition, awards. Again, the tech fee continues to drop, and now we're down to $5 cost and $10 going to trips, recognition, awards, and cash. And again, we could make other changes. We could decide to lower the tech fee if we want, although if we're having success with awarding those newest reps with trips, recognition, awards, then maybe we'll keep it the same. $15 is not that big a deal, and we might decide that that's the way to go. But the field will have a lot of input on that. I'm probably not going to ultimately make that decision. It'll be based on what you guys think is working and what's not working. As far as the users go, by this point now we got $3 a month going to trips, recognition, awards, and cash prizes for each individual user and per month. And I think this is huge, guys. Now we're talking about $300,000 a month, so $3.6 million a year going back to our users. And it's increasing a little bit per user. It's not affecting the cost. So mind you, the cost of the program is staying the same the entire time. And I think that's one of the ways that we keep our usership up. We get people excited about it, and and keep them coming back for more is that we keep making improvements to the system the entire time and giving those awards, recognition, cash prizes, things like that. Imagine this. Imagine if you signed up somebody as a user. I'm just going to go through this real quick. You signed somebody up as a user. Maybe they didn't become a rep. Okay. In fact, I've got 2 people right now that are interested in just becoming a client, and they don't have any interest in being a rep. They're just going to pay the $35 a month for the program, and I kind of told them a little bit about it, and they're excited about having me help them set it up, which is another thing I'm going to do to get them on board. But it won't take me very long. It might take an hour of my time. But imagine this: you sign somebody up, it's a friend of yours or whatever, and what would that feel like if that guy actually, or gal, took the reins on that program and started saving an extra $500 a month? I don't know. I'm just throwing that number out there. But let's just say that they weren't really saving much at all. And after using the program for a couple months, they started saving $500 a month. And then on top of that, they started to win some awards, maybe a little bit of recognition, got some cash prizes because they got to the top of whatever category they're in, and then maybe they win a trip. I don't know, it could be something small, it could be something big, but don't you think that would be significant? I mean, I wonder what they would think of you if you got them involved in something like this as a client and that happened to them. And here's the thing, at the end of the day, okay, the most important thing they did is saved $500 a month. All right, that's the most important thing they did. It's not whether they won recognition or awards or whatever. That's just kind of icing on the cake. But I think that you can get people to get excited about saving money if they also get to, earn some recognition, some awards, and some cash prizes. I really believe that. I think that's so important. So just going through a couple things that we, that we're going to do. And of course, we're going to add whatever the users want. So by this time, we'll have some decent feedback in terms of what is what's something that people are wanting to have in the program. A couple other ideas we have is tax expense tracking. Once we start growing, we can do tax preparation. Banking is a huge one, guys. I'll go through another webcast on what the upside potential is to banking, but it's just huge. Credit cleanup, debt negotiation, and then finally financial products, auto and home, life, retirement planning, disability. We'll probably take a while to add financial products because I have a plan to recruit some of those Primerica reps and World Financial Group folks, and we won't be recruiting them if we're adding financial products right off the bat. But we can add those later. That's just something down the road. But that's it. That's all I got for today, guys. I just wanted to give you guys kind of a heads up on the business model and show you what the TMM program can do. It's actually a really clean, really clean piece of software. It works really well, and I'm super excited, guys, about getting this thing started, getting things rolling. Again, we can recruit anybody in the nation, pretty much anywhere. The software program that we teamed up with, they do support Europe, so we could add Europe very quickly. I highly recommend. I sent out an email with our pre-launch application. Please fill that out, get it back to me, and that waives the $50 enrollment fee and waives the first month tech fee. So you just pay $35. You're just basically paying for the TMM program, and then we're gonna go ahead and use that for a month. So we'll take those applications until we reach either 1,000 new reps or we reach the 15th of April, whichever comes first. So anyway, guys, I'm super excited. I didn't see any texts come in, so I'm going to assume there really isn't that many questions yet, or maybe we'll have questions. Go ahead and send me a text if you have questions, and I can add those to the webcast next time we do one. And we'll probably do one again next week at some point. I appreciate you guys getting on and listening to me jab. So have a great day.